Hey, what's up, dude? You might be muted.
Hey, how are you, Larry?
I am doing well. How are you?
I'm doing really well. It was a long day today, but got everything I needed to get done, and that's what's most important. So
I'm glad that you got everything done. I love those days that you actually are able, like when you're able to get like everything done on your to-do list. It's like so nice thinking like, okay, tomorrow I don't have to worry about whatever it was I was worrying about.
yeah, kind of like those emails that are kind of lingering in the background, or that project that just wasn't done the right way. And today I was able to do everything I needed to do, and then a little bit more, and that's being able to go home with that kind of like off your shoulders is just really nice. So
that's dope, dude. I absolutely love that. I think that's hands down like a good way to like end the work day at least. So thank you for taking some time out of your night after a busy work night to have a conversation. Everyone, I just want to introduce a good friend of mine. His name is Neil.
Hi, everyone.
Neil G. We'll just keep it as Neil G. So I guess you could see your name right there. But Neil, you want to talk a little bit about yourself, who you are?
Yeah.
What you do.
So, as Larry had just very genuinely or generously given me a great introduction there. My name is Neil Goldstein. I basically, just kind of a brief synopsis, joined the Navy back when I was 18 and became a corpsman, and went to the Fleet Marine Force, and learned combat medicine and learned how to really be with the Marines, and from there left to go to college, branched out, and I really wanted to kind of experience that that college atmosphere at 25. Why not?
I was right there with you, dude.
And I got really involved with research. And at that time, I remember that my very first professor, I practically followed him out to the parking lot. He asked me if I could walk and talk, and I really did walk and talk, and I followed him all the way out to the parking lot because I was just insistent that I really wanted to get involved in research, and this was something that I saw myself doing in the future. And he was like, "You're just a freshman," and I told him, I was like, "But sir, I'm 25, cut me a break.
Right.
I can do a little bit of data analysis, promise. At least collect some consents or something. Let me just talk to people about the study." And he finally let me in. Ended up doing my own research, and then later on, got my master's, and now I work for Walter Reed National Military Medical Center, conducting research studies with the Department of Defense and Veteran Affairs, and so now all the studies that we do are strictly in trying to better the quality of life of our veterans. It's very, I'm not gonna lie, it's very hard, very tedious, very long hours of clinical research. But the wonderful thing is that there's a really good group of people that are there, and they truly care. And they, it's a lot of the participants that come to us, a lot of the patients that come, they're a part of a family. That we know them, they know us, and they know that we're out there for their best interest. So that's what I do now, and it's like I said, it's long days, and it can be stressful at times, but knowing that you're going home and that you've made a veteran or a group of veterans' day, a little bit better, going home to their families, that their quality of life is better. It makes it all worthwhile.
That's really awesome, dude. I didn't realize how much you did. I know that you did a lot with the veteran community, just because fun fact about everyone is we know each other because of the military. We served in the military together, and we didn't even. It was crazy because you were talking about going back to school, and I think we met in a college class, but it was on base. It was like algebra or something like that. Was it a math class that we're in?
It was pre-algebra.
Yeah, it was pre-algebra. Yeah, I remember that.
It was pre-algebra.
I hated it.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was. I think back to that class sometimes. It was quite. I mean, for like community college classes to like masters and like upper level sciences, you know.
Yeah.
I think back to that and just like it was like a small group of misfits in there, you know. So,
right? Yeah. It's crazy, and that was probably like 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago that we met.
Yeah.
Like, it's been a long time because I had just gotten back from deployment.
Mm-hmm.
It had been like maybe like 4 months, and I was just getting back from Afghanistan. I also was a corpsman in the military, but I also did dental. But then deployment was different because, you know, it's like, okay, yeah, you're going like as a dental tech, and it's like, well, no, not always. So, but it was something different. But we met each other like during this class just by chance. I think we sat next to each other too, because like the desks, they weren't like individual desks, they were like tables.
Yeah,
right. There were tables and like I think
it's
on,
coming
like,
back.
The inside of rows or something like that. I remember.
Oh yeah,
slightly remember.
That was. I remember, you know, being partnered up with some folks, and I remember saying to myself, with some of them, I'm like, I'm praying for you getting out. Like a lot of them talking again. I was saying a prayer for you. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I had no idea what I wanted to do once I actually like finished class. I knew I was going to go the engineering route, but I didn't know like how far I would make and like how far I would make it, and like here I am now. And
I think about like, that actually. I think about that. I'm like, here's this guy I took pre-algebra with, and now he's an engineer. Yeah. Just, I hope I got some of that. You know what I mean? I just I got some of that.
You got a little bit more, man. So, like I said, we've known each other for 10 years. So like our relationship, as far as like where it stands now, like, I think we could talk a little bit more, but like when we do talk, it's they're not like, you know, quick conversations. They're like an hour and a half, 2 hours when we actually like talk to each other.
Yes.
Which I think we're trying to get better about talking to each other a little bit more, just because it's important, right? Like
it really is. It really is. And you know, it's funny too, because like, you know, I if I'm ever near someone and I get your call, I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna be a little bit, you know, and like I'll go to a room that no one's in or nearby and like kind of settle in, you know, because I know it's gonna be a good talk, and I know I don't, you know, it's always good conversation, and I don't know what the conversation is gonna go. You know?
I know, right? It just happens.
You know, I never know, but that's the beautiful thing of it. It's like, you know, it's kind of like what was like the mystery jelly beans. You know, you don't know which one, you know, or like the box of chocolates. Let's go with the box of chocolates. Let's do that. You know, you never know which one you're gonna get. You know, and but that's the beauty of it, and I think that's you know, that's what makes a lot of these conversations, and you know, you don't realize the impact of a conversation until, you know, years down the line. You know what I mean? You don't really realize the impact, and then you realize the benefit of it, you know, until years later, and you're like, man, really glad that I had that talk. I'm glad that I sat down, stopped what I was doing, and just sat down and talked, and you know, gave me pause to, you know, kind of reflect on something else other than myself, or maybe I had a chance to kind of look a little bit more deeper into myself. So yeah, they are cherished.
Yeah, I absolutely love them. It's always great to like catch up and like shoot the shit. Like it's really cool. Like I know Melinda, she would totally back that. Like I talk on the phone a lot, or I try to, like I try to talk to people, especially now since like we're like all stuck at home for the most part. But yeah, it's different. It's a different time, but not to like worry about that. For everyone else that's watching, like, so I want to do like for me, like with Oh Hello Blogs, most of you know, like I want to be clear about like my intentions, like as doing Oh Hello Blogs, in that I want to provide personal accounts and like different events and perspective coming from me and other people, with like an occasional like meme for comic relief, of course, or like a joke or whatever, is the whole point of tonight. But yeah, I think it's something I called Neil about and said, hey dude, like, would you want to come on like the Twitch, like my live stream, and talk about mental health and like trying to dissect it and trying to like navigate through like a very dense topic, and at the end of it, like trying to normalize telling like we love each other, because every time I talk to Neil, like I let him know that I love him after I get off the phone. And it's not anything out of like, other than like, you know, as a brother, as a friend.
Yeah, there's a major bromance going.
Yeah, there's a major bromance. But yeah, we could just dive right into it. Like, initial thoughts.
You like Trey Songz, I'm gonna dive right in.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
So, for you, Neil, like, how do you like see like brotherhood, and how do you think brotherhood or sisterhood, and how do you think that like affects you, or how do you perceive that, or how do you interpret that?
Yeah. You know, I look at, you know, brotherhood and sisterhood, you know, the way that I look at, really kind of like the way I look back at being in the military, you know, and that even goes with, you know, my, you know, civilian friends, you know, people that I can lean on. And, you know, I think that as I've gone forward into life, you know, I've really had to lean on these people. And, you know, and to be honest, you know, I remember when I first got out, you know, I was very headstrong, and I thought to myself, I'm just going to do it all. You know, yeah. I'm going to go head first. And
I feel you on that, dude.
Yeah, I did. I thought, you know, and I'll never forget it. I'll just the you know, a small climax of this, of just, or a low really. I remember, you know, when I first got out, you know, I ended up sharing a home with another corpsman, another FMF corpsman that I knew from like way back. We stayed pretty good friends. We were in different battalions, and you know, we went to the same liberal arts college. Yeah. And I remember one day I had ordered this grill, and it came late one evening. I had a long day at class, and I was putting it together, and he was working as a paramedic. And he came in one and like late at night, it had to be like 10 or 11, and he walked into the kitchen, and he saw me with all these pieces all over the place, right? All over the kitchen, strewn across. and
what kind of grill did you have?
It was a basic ass grill. It wasn't anything intense. Like, I don't know why I couldn't get this thing together. I think I was just in my head maybe. And it wasn't even anything crazy, but I just couldn't put it together. And nothing was coming together. I needed an engineer. That's what I needed. No. I needed an engineer. But my buddy, he walks in and he stands there in the doorway, and I remember looking up at him. And we talk about this. It feels like it felt like a new low. Not really a low, but
for
like
you.
No, yeah, I guess like just be able to admit something. You know, and so I said forthright, I said, I looked up with him, you know, just very exhausted eyes. You know, it wasn't just the grill, it was everything. Yeah. And I looked up at him, just really exhausted eyes, and I said, Greg, I fucking hate this. You know, and he knew it wasn't the grill. He knew it wasn't the grill. He knew that it was everything else. You know, like I said, I was stuck in my head, and there's a lot going on. And I've really needed to, you know, lean on people. My friend Greg, like I didn't say his name, Greg, who's wonderful. I've really needed to lean on him and individuals like yourself, and you know, other folks, you know, around me, you know. But on the other side of it too is that, you know, I've found a much larger community by giving, you know, and you know, I never realized how impactful like it would be on me to give myself to others, you know, and like to volunteer my time and to really try to lift up their lives. And, so, when I was in undergrad, I started working in like building a veteran organization. And
I remember that, like, you're on that shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you made me want to get and give more back to like the veteran community than what I did. Like, I mean, all I ever did was, I was just the president of the Student Veterans Association at my thing.
Something.
At the last like semester that I was there, which was pretty cool. But yeah,
1000%.
But yeah, like, dude, that perfect. Like, I remember you definitely like encouraged me or like, inspired me to do more. But sorry for interrupting.
No, absolutely no. But that's the thing about it is that that's how you build that network. I didn't realize it. It literally hit me like a ton of bricks. You know what I mean? Like, well, life hit me like a ton of bricks. But the thing is that, I'd given myself so much to others and trying to help and try to build these communities that I didn't realize that I built one for myself.
Yeah.
And like by the time I was hitting the floor, there was a net there, like I had people to lean on. And, to be honest, like I just gave because like I just needed to get out of my own head. And like, I didn't realize that I was building something for myself. And it really has. It's grown now. Like it's funded. So the veteran organization is actually funded now by the university. They've got 2 paid staff positions.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's really dope, dude.
Yeah. The college now they've realized that there's a voice there. There's a veteran voice there. And so they started, they actually put in a whole veteran like lobby. So whenever they were reconstructing, they're like, okay, this will be the veteran side, like this will be the veterans office. Right. And so now there's like a study room and all that stuff where like the veteran organization can actually meet. They can bounce ideas off of each other. They can assist with fundraising. The 2 paid staff positions, they have their own offices. But it's the thing is that it's a much larger community now. And the thing is that, it goes back to that brotherhood and that sisterhood of just building that community. And like, but to me, that's what that is, that brotherhood and sisterhood. It's giving, and giving in a way in which like, you don't realize that you're building yourself a safety network. You don't realize that you're building yourself a support network that's going to help your mental health over time. I understand that, people are in different circumstances and things like that. Mm-hmm. And this is just something that worked for me. And it, like I said, trying to do diligently by others and trying to build them up. Like I said, I never realized that I was going to be building myself the same.
What really resonated with me was like, as you're building like these as you're building this community and like, in the veteran community, for me, it was a little different when I got out. Like I moved from Camp Lejeune up to Raleigh and like, I knew no one except one dude that I deployed with. And, he was a good dude. He was a Marine. But it was just like, we were in 2 different like paths. So there was a time where, I felt really like alone and didn't know how to like navigate through day to day. And it was like, there was a lot of little things that hit me all at once because as I'm like EASing out of the military, like I'm trying to set up getting an apartment. I'd never gotten an apartment, so I had to figure that out. Like I didn't have a roommate, so it was a little different experience. So I wasn't able to like, I just went with like the first thing I was told about and like took it, and then realized I was so isolated and I was doing like a lot by myself, and which was fine and then not fine. But luckily, that's where I learned a lot about myself. I met my now wife, like we're neighbors, and which is really awesome. Like she's a huge like help, and she's seen me through like my lowest times. But then she's also seen how I am with like my relationships with people, like with my friends. And that's something that, you've mentioned before, like trying to have someone around, or like wanting to have people around especially like men, because I think like in men, like we have a lot in common.
Yeah.
As far as like men, I mean, just with what we do, not saying like I don't have a lot in common with women, because I do. I grew up with nothing but women. I don't have like any like real brothers. But it's something that my brotherhood and like my sister, just like my friendships in general, I love the people in my life and I depend on them, like, and I lean on them when I need to. So for you, I know that you wanted to make some comments about like needing and like surviving and not having it have like a negative like connotation like when you do it, because it's something that we all should do. I should be able to like come to you and talk to you for hours like I do, and it not be any sign other than, okay, a person, we could take gender out of it, like a person is needing to talk, let me give some time to this person, versus, oh no dude, like don't talk to me that long, that's really gay, or like don't tell me you love me, that's gay. And it's like, okay, even if it is gay, like it's 2020, like who gives a fuck, like like seriously, like if you don't like it, like okay, that's a weird flex, but
we would have a nicer wedding, that's what it would be.
Yeah, it would be.
I think genuinely, people in general have a desire to connect, and we as men, we live in a culture of where like it's like you can't go and you can't talk about those things, and like, listen, man, like maybe you just keep that to yourself, or I know for years, like I didn't want to admit things to myself because it meant that I was gonna have to talk to other people about it. It's just, and it wasn't healthy, and I was finding that out the hard way, and but I really did. I had a desire to connect and to really to talk to people and try to really, I don't know, like be able to express myself. I know when I first got out, one of my really closest friends from high school, she's a marriage and family counselor now.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to talk to her a lot because I didn't want to talk to anybody else. And I trusted myself to her. It's because I didn't want to, I didn't want to tell anybody else. I didn't want to talk to any other guys because like it was just going to be looked down upon.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I think, sorry to stop you mid-sentence, but like, I think for me, it's so wild that we can't come to each other like as men and say like, hey dude, like I feel like crying, or like this, like I am seriously not having a good time. But I think it sucks, like why I don't understand why we are not able to like go to each other about it, or why we have to feel this way. And I think it's kind of like the definition of what it means to be a man, and like it's super toxic because like there are different ways to be a man, just like there are different ways to be people. Like we have all of us have our own like ideologies and whatever it may be. So it's like, why can't that come back down to genders? If we're gonna go to that, like genders, why isn't it okay for men to not be able to do that? It just baffles me completely.
And I mean, to be honest, like all really like if you think about this process, of keeping to yourself, right? You have these people who care about you, right? They genuinely care about you, and you're not willing to talk, you know what I mean? And they know you're not willing to talk, right? And that's for them to see you, destroy yourself slowly. And I know that, family would ask me, my mom and my dad, would ask me, and I never wanted to talk to them about it. I was the oldest, I can't be doing that. I can't be going to like talk to my dad about these things. or I can't, like he is, my idea of strength. And, well, he and my mom, but at the same time, like, I didn't realize that I was alienating the people around me. I was making it to where, like, I didn't, they cared about me, but, I wasn't going to talk to them. And it was just going to be, I was just going to be sitting with these ideas and nothing was going to happen about them, and all I was going to do is just kind of sit and stew. And so, you don't realize you're doing these things, though. It's not like you mean to do them. It's just kind of like, you kind of feel insecure about talking about them. And these insecurities only just build walls, and they build people away from you. You just build structures away from people.
I completely agree with you on that, because I know there have been times when, like, I wouldn't even, like, talk to my wife about things when I'm, like, upset, or and I feel at times like it was easier. It was like she was, like, walking on eggshells around me, because, like, when I was at my lowest points, like, dealing with, like, PTSD and, like, panic disorder and stuff like that, anything like moving my mic from here to here would, like, just set me off. And it's not because the mic was moved from here to here. It's something that's, like, so much more deeper, and, like, stuff that I didn't want to, like, talk about and, like, get help about or talk to anyone about. Like, I would just keep it in, to the point where, like, I was getting, like, physically sick, and, like, I knew I needed something, but I didn't know how to say and concede and say, yeah, okay, I need to, like, chill the fuck out and go talk to someone, because this isn't healthy. And it took a long time for me to realize that, for me to want to go do that. And I think I see that now, like, in a lot of other men. A lot of other men have, like, the same kind of, like, thought pattern, because, like, oh no, I don't need that, like, I'm a tough guy, yeah. But no, it's like, dude, it's okay, like, fucking cry. Like, I cry sometimes, not all the time, but I'll cry sometimes. I'll tell my guy friends I love them, and sometimes I'll even give them hugs and whatever. But, like, yeah, dude, I need to talk. Like, I need to talk about my feelings. And if that makes me whatever, like, word you want to describe me as, then, like, so be it. At least, like, I know I'm happy with myself. And by me being happy with myself, I'm able to have fruitful relationships with everyone around me, including, like, my biggest fan, which is my wife. My wife is fucking awesome, and, like, she's super supportive. And we have a pretty awesome, like, marriage. I mean, there are ups and downs, of course, but, like, overall, like, I am super happy to be with her and to be her husband. So yeah, we should be able to do that more. So, but sorry for interrupting. Sorry.
No. I mean, that was great. No, and and the thing is, Larry, like, we all have our own grills. I'm just going to use it as a metaphor. We all do. We all have our own grills, and and the thing is that being able to talk about things in which that help us build the grill, and don't keep people out. I mean, that's what's most important. And, those conversations are so important, and, there really are, they're missed opportunities, really to be able to engage with those who love and care about you around you. And, I completely agree. And they're missed opportunities.
Very, like, a lot of missed opportunities. And it's hard that, a lot more people don't recognize that, or recognize when there's, like, a problem. It's easier to, like, put it on the back burner, or, like, say, I could build that grill later. It's not that big of a deal. Let's just not worry about it. Let's shove it off into the corner until it starts to, like, rust and, like, get dust and stuff like that. But, yeah, I agree. There are a lot of, like, missed opportunities. So with that, like, if you think about wanting to, like, be connected with other people, or, like, needing to be around people, what else is there you think that we could focus on, like, when it comes to, like, our mental health, specifically our mental health, like, as men? Like, how can we, like, by the way, everyone, like, although I'm talking about, like, men's mental health, I do intend to have women on here, because, like I said in one of my posts, like, women are a part of this conversation, whether we like agree with it or not. Like, because think about it, like when we're upset, it's so much easier to, like, I've seen it all the time, and I know that I'm probably guilty of it too. Like, it's easier to snap on the person that you're with all the time. Like, it's easier to get mad at them because they're like in front of you. And like, let's be real, like as like men, like when I get mad, like I think a lot of men have tempers, and like I'm not like physical or anything like that, but like I can get loud, and and it's like pitiful versus like just saying, okay, let's calm down, let's take a step back, and let's like talk about it. No, it's like I could run my suck muscle all day about like whatever if I'm like mad, and it's like, okay, no, I can't be that way. I need to learn how to listen, not just listen, but like actively listen to like have some solution versus nothing at all, versus like resentment, because I feel like that's what it leads to.
No, I completely agree. I would say that for men in general, really seeking out help, just simple counseling, can help work things out, and the thing about it is that counseling helps build a structure around these loose feelings that we have, right? And so if you got to sit there and think like we carry around these things, and like let's say there are a bunch of water bottles, right? And so we're trying to carry around these water bottles as best as we can, walking through life with all these water bottles. And if you think about it, like counseling is that that rucksack, that structure. And these are and if you really think about it, counseling is the bag, is the rucksack to help carry around that water. It's not to say that the water is just going to go away, right? It's not to say that, but it helps build a structure, and that way we can carry it around in life, and that way it's less of a burden. It spills out less. It gives us a wonderful outlet to help not only contain, but be able to, like I said, with a structure. And by a structure, what I mean is that, really taking apart those feelings and, just having deep discussion. So like, what triggers those, those feelings, are they intrusive thoughts? How do you deal with those intrusive thoughts? What do you say to them? Do you listen to them? And what do they say about you? And having those deep conversations with someone you can trust, if you have a really hard time, talking to those around you, like if you feel insecure about that, maybe see a professional who's trained in this, to be able to give that burden to and be able to help you work through it. No shame in that. Absolutely no shame in that. And the thing is that, if you're having a hard time putting together your grill, just i.e. things in life, then that might be a great opportunity. Or otherwise, you're just going to have a harder time, you're going to have a harder time. In general, just putting
like navigating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keeping that pack on.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you, dude. It's so hard to like not want to. I think it's harder to make the effort to not want to communicate, because it starts to wear on you more and more. That like pack, the rucksack, it like gets heavier and heavier, and like after a while, like it's so easy to, I don't know, like get physically sick when you're holding everything in. I know when I get stressed out, or there have been times where I've been stressed out, like especially with like the current affairs like of the United States, which I don't really want to talk about, but like it was to the point like I wasn't talking about it with people because it's so hard to like, okay, here's what my perception of reality is right now, and here's like what's happening. And it got to the point like I was so stressed out that like my stomach, like I was getting like ulcers, like stress induced like ulcers, and I couldn't sleep. Anything that I ate, it just felt like it wasn't sitting right, and it was because like I held like everything in. And it's just open your mouths, people, and talk. Like it's so easy to do that. Like even if someone doesn't want to listen, like they're going to listen to you, like, and like just talk. Like There's at least one person in your circle that you can talk to, regardless of anything.
And the thing is, the thing that I've found, since being more open and since being more, I guess, open than talkative, there's actually people who want to listen.
Yes, dude.
Imagine that. There's a lot more people in your life that actually want to listen. They want to hear what's on your mind, because guess what? They fucking love you. There's a reason why they fucking love you. They want to know what's on your goddamn mind.
Right?
Thank
you. Yes.
It's really all that simple. Like, they want to know. And my parents, like, for example, whenever they would ask me, I was, fresh out of the military at 25, I had a lot of shit eating at me, and I never wanted to talk to them about it. I never did.
Yeah.
And I really needed that. I really needed to talk. I didn't realize how great that was. And even with close buddies of mine that were around, being able to talk to them about these things, being able to talk about how alone that I felt, and at the time, I was really shooting for every avenue for connection. You know what I mean? I was trying to work in research. I was trying to do stuff for the veteran organization. I even started doing stuff for Big Brothers and Big Sisters. I didn't realize how much I wanted connection. You know what I mean? And to really, to reach out and to, inspire and be inspired, you know, and I didn't realize how starved I was for that. And, and it simply just came from, being insecure and not wanting to talk about these things, and not being real with myself, really. Actually, that was the first step, is admitting that, to myself that I had feelings that I needed to work out, and that there were people around that I could depend on and that could listen and that would love and care, about the things that I said. And I wouldn't feel judged, I wouldn't feel, less, that if anything, they thought more of me, they thought wow, Neil's coming to me with something that's really important to him. That makes me feel important. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize, is when they keep these things to themselves, is how important you make the people around you feel, because they love and care about you. They hold you here, they hold you really high. And when you make yourself vulnerable to those people that care and love about you, about something that's important, about something that's really affecting and harming you, you reinforce that relationship. You make people feel better because, they feel valued, that you took the time and that you have, the input in mind that they are a person of value that deserves and it can be trusted with your thoughts and feelings. That's huge.
It is very huge.
That's huge. I don't know. It really is. It's something beautiful. And I think that people really don't kind of see that big picture of how valuable the minds around them really are, and how much they are thought of, and how much they're actually adored and how much they're cared for.
Right.
And I think if people really did know that, maybe they might be in a much better spot than they are. And, but again, it's never too late to start,
Right.
I'm trying to think of the Chinese proverb. There's a Chinese proverb. It said, what was it? The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now.
That's a good one. And I'm glad that we're planting trees right now, and people that are listening, what I really liked about what you just said, people wanting to know, the people that love you, people do genuinely love you, and they want to know. And there have been so many times where I know, if I'm having a shitty day, there are a lot of people that I could call, and when I don't, and if it gets bad, they're more upset with me that I didn't call, and say dude, what is your problem? You could call me, and you could talk to me. why didn't you do that? Like,
yeah,
like I don't care like what time it is. Like if I know there are people on my phone right now, if I call a certain way, they'll answer the phone because they'll know it's an emergency. And like people want to know, like your friends want to know, and you talking about you Neil mentioning like it makes other people feel good just by coming to them about like how you're feeling. That does make people feel good. It's like, okay, yeah, Neil's coming to me about this problem, or Battle's coming to me about this problem because like he really needs help, and like it means a lot that he wants to talk to me about what he's going through, and like he trusts me to know about what he's going through. That means a lot to people, because it like trust is so powerful, like community is so powerful. Like we need that, and we need more of it, and we need to talk more, and we need to like love each other more. Like
you know, a good friend of mine, he was another vet, and he and his wife had just moved to Louisville, Kentucky, and he and his wife needed to get out of an apartment, you know, pronto. And I had just gotten off of work. I was, you know, as an undergrad, I was working on the weekends, and you know, I was living that I love making life, you know, going up on a Tuesday.
That's a good one. You know, all these, like, you're quick with the little snippets.
I was living that life, bro. I'll tell you. Yeah. So, you know, I was working on the weekends, and he caught me, you know, like right after work, and he was like, you know, listen, I hate to do this to you, but you know, I need to move. Me and my wife need to move out of this apartment like tonight, and we got to move into this house. And he's like, you know, our moving crew didn't work out like it was supposed to, and you know, we're at our last match with you. And you know, I jumped at the chance. You know what I mean? And like, this was after I'd realized like the people that were in my life and like how valuable those relationships were. And you know, I jumped to the chance, and I told him, I was like, if you buy me 2 monsters, we can get this house unpacked. We can get this house done. And, you know, but the thing was, God, oh man, I was so tired. And we just ran, like we were just like in the house running. You'd have swore we were stealing stuff out that apartment. But like, we were literally just running, you know, moving furniture, getting it into the truck, and we were pouring sweat, you know?
Yeah.
You know, but the thing was, you know, I look back, you know, yeah, we didn't get done till like 1 or 2 in the morning, but you know, I look back now and like, those were great memories. And that was, you know, it was a great experience to like build our relationship, you know what I mean? And he became like, you know, we became even deeper friends. Like, you know, we talked more, you know what I mean? Right. And like, he was very reserved, you know, for the longest time. And like, you know, after a while, you know, I finally got in, you know, and you know, and you can't replace those relationships. And I would tell for the people who are out there right now who are listening, you know, if there's people in your life that you can be talking to and that you aren't, you know, it's important, you know, and you don't realize how valuable those relationships are, and you really don't. And I can't say more enough about them, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. That's really awesome. Like, I love stories about like friends helping friends when they like need it, and like they're expecting to like, okay, yeah, we'll pay you this or that. And it's like, no, dude, like you don't need to do that. And they're like, no, I insist. Okay, if you want to do that, instead of paying me, how about you get me like a consumable of something that I could use, like monsters. But yeah, I really love like helping people, especially like friends. I think it's super important. Even like people that need help. I know it's really weird right now. If you see someone struggling right now, like, here, let me help you with this. It's like kind of weird because of like the whole sickness that's going around. But like, I got you, dude. Yeah, antidepressants. Wolf, Runaway Wolf, on here right now on the chat talking. Yeah, I got you, dude. It's so with like meds, I can't talk about meds just because obviously I'm not a medical professional anymore, and even if I were, I don't think it'd be ethical to talk about it. But like, I've had to go with my bout with different like meds. I don't take them anymore just because for me they didn't help me. So what I did when it came to like what I was experiencing and the things that I was going through, I did a thing a few times. I think it was like 2 or 3 times I went through a thing called cognitive behavioral therapy, where yeah, it's really awesome. If you haven't heard of that, Wolf, you should check out CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. And the reason I talk about it is because since the medication wasn't working for me, because really what it was doing was causing me to have like a medical induced like psychosis, to where I would titrate on one medication and the VA was like, okay, this isn't working, let's try this one, and they wouldn't like titrate me down the right way, so it was just like abruptly stopping. So it kind of like messed with like my head a little bit. So it got to the point where in the March of 2016, I was in the ER like 7 times. I thought like I was, no joke, like having like a stroke or like a heart attack or something, but no, it was just like I was having extreme like panic attacks. Like, cause I mean, during that time I had ran a marathon and I was like completely fine. I didn't die. So like I was still like freaked out, like, oh my gosh, I'm having a heart attack. And it's like, no, it was like I was so stressed out to the point like medicines weren't working. And so like I wanted to do talk therapy. That's when I made the conscious decision and said like, I cannot do this anymore. I cannot fucking live like how I'm living now, so let me do something different. And it took me over 2 years to finish a 12-week program, which I had to restart once because like it got to the point where I was writing about a traumatic experience from deployment that like I was like, I can't do this, like I'm stressed out, like I'm like a wreck. So I had to stop and revisit it. I did other things to like kind of numb everything, but it wasn't like helping, it wasn't enough. So I had to go back to my therapist, which I recently talked to her about a month ago now. And I said, hey, I want to try this again. Can we do it? She's like, well, you know, after the first time, if it doesn't work, we try something else. I was like, no, I want to tackle this. Like, please, doc, let me do this. And like, I went through the CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. For the second time, it was a struggle, but like I got through it much faster because I was truly ready, and it helped. And what I learned through the whole experience was I learned how to get rid of people in my life too that were just like bringing me down, like, because yes, we do need each other, but like there are also some people that are so poisonous, so woe is me, or so negative about whatever. And when those people are around you, you start to feed off of that, and like you can't say much to them because no matter what you say, they're going to be that way. So like when I'm dealt with people like that now, I'll talk to them, I'll listen to them, and I don't say much because it's like at that point, like if everything is so bad, like you have to figure it out on your own, but I'm here to listen when you need someone to listen to. So that's something that I still do for people that like I don't necessarily care for, but like I care for them. Like I say it all the time, I don't like everybody, but I love everybody, if that makes sense. And do you have anything on that, like when it comes to like antidepressants and things like that? I know, again, like everyone, we're not doctors, we were docs in the military. But like what do you like?
So I mean, I've done medications in the past, and you know, they did help, and but I think, you know, like long term, I ended up doing, you know, the CBT. You did
CBT also? Isn't that such great shit? Like,
it really is
so great, right?
It's rough. It's really rough, and you know, I did it over a summer, and it was a process. But the thing is that, you know, I really needed a summer to do it and not be in school. And it was helpful. And the thing about it, you know, whenever I talked about building a structure around how you felt or how, you know, your feelings in general, like whenever I talked about that, that's where that experience came from, was CBT, you know, building that structure around how you feel. And, you know, and really leaning in on mental health professionals, because they really do know what they're doing. And, you know, a lot of people, you know, the Wizard, and they get a lot of, they get a lot of flack. It's really not deserved, because they really do help. And not just like don't get me wrong, like you really don't need, like, if you don't have like, you know, a traumatic experience or anything like that, doesn't mean that you shouldn't go. Like you might have some underdeveloped feelings or some things that you don't really understand about yourself, and that really might need someone else with professional experience, you know, years and years and years of of behavior understanding that, you know, can really help you build around that. And that's, you know, I went to school for this, you know, and that's what they're there for. Yeah. You know, you can have your social ring, and that's great. But, you know, when really trying to look for like long-term effects, like you want to reach out to a health professional who can really help build, build a structure around how you feel. And that's important. Like, you can't get around that. Like, you can't shake a stick at that, you know, and that's, you know, I did it, and it was incredibly helpful. I can't say more about it. You know, I still remember them. I can still see their faces in my head, and I hadn't seen them in years.
Thank you, dude. That was super powerful. I hope that helped out, Wolf. My therapist, she's really dope. She's through the VA, super awesome, very helpful, and I'm just super like happy to like be able to have like the means to go talk to a therapist. I think it's cool. Even like, I guess right now I'm not able to do it. Everything is done like remotely now, like kind of like Zoom, but something else. Mental health is so much more important than like putting it off. And that's something that I stress to a lot of my friends. A guy that came over probably in the middle of this whole pandemic thing here, and he was talking, he's like, yeah, this is going on, this and this. I'm like, dude, you need to go fucking talk to someone. Like, I'm here to talk to you, I'm here to listen to you, but like what you're describing to me is like dead ass, it's scary, and like you need to talk to someone. Like, and like at this point now, like I'm afraid for what you're going through, so it's either you make the appointment or like I call someone and get the appointment for you, because like what you're doing is not healthy. So like I encouraged him to get help, and like he's like, no dude, like I don't want to do it, blah 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 blah, like I can't afford to do it and all this stuff, you know. I was like, we have to look into a way that we can get you to afford it, like, because there are free ways to get it. And he's like, well, no, like, I don't want to have to go. If it's like going to be like a budget doctor or whatever, I don't want to do it. No, it's not a budget doctor. They're the same doctors. They're just working at like lower income places, because like they're doing it because they know that their healthcare system is so fucked up that they want to help. Like, there are a reason why there's medical professionals that work in these places, is because they want to help. They want to make a difference in the community. And like, whether it be like something that's from the government, if it's free from the government, take it. Like, free is the best. Like, free is the best. There are so many different hotlines. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I've called a suicide hotline before, not because I wanted to commit suicide, but it was like in the middle of like a really bad like medical or medicine like induced psychosis that I was having. Like, I was hearing so many voices in my head, freaking out. Like, I called a suicide hotline, just crying, talking to like a nurse, saying like, hey, I don't know what's going on, like what do I do, I'm freaking out. And like they talked to me, and not only that, after the conversation they called me back like the next day, and like weeks after that they called me back to check on me.
That's so wonderful.
Yeah, like, so
that's so wonderful.
Talk to people. Like, if it's free, if it's free, fuck it, it's free. If there are free like numbers, hotlines that you could talk to, give them a call, because they will call you back. And like when I talked to this person, they're the same person that called me back every single time, and eventually I got their direct line to where I could call them and check in with them. The person I worked with, his name was Todd, and like Todd was fucking awesome, and then he ended up leaving the company, but like it benefited me. If
anybody's interested, so if you are having struggles in your life, if you are having those thoughts, so again, don't think anything less of yourself, and just simply writing it down. There's nothing wrong with that. So the National Suicide Prevention Hotline number is 1-800-273-8255. Again, that number is 1-800-273-8255. There's nothing wrong with having that nearby, having that in your phone. I mean, hell, you could have it on hand for someone else. Having that ready. Again, the number is 1-800-273-8255.
That's truly like giving, as you said earlier. That's really doing a lot for us, and for what we want to do, which is talking about mental health, and how to be better men by talking about our feelings.
Absolutely. And You know, honestly, I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else tonight. It was truly an honor to be here, be able to talk. So thank you again for having me. Gosh, this has been absolutely wonderful. So
Extremely
yeah, no, thank you for the
wonderful.
opportunity to be here.
Of course. Thank you, dude. I hope you have a wonderful night, everyone. I know I will. And of course, Wolf, everyone, I love you. Neil, I love you very much, brother, and thank you. Yeah. Hopefully everyone tunes in next Thursday for the next part of just chatting about mental health. I'll have thank you to Toots Redheart for watching. I'll have another guest next week. My friend Jess, she'll be on the pod, or she'll be on the pod. It's not a podcast. She'll be on the stream next week to have a similar conversation because, like I said earlier, it's not just about men's health. Isn't just about men's, even though it's encompassing men, because women play a big part in that. And I want to grow as a man, and I want to be able to understand, not just from like our perspective as men, but from women as well, to be a man with a woman's perspective. So come back next week, next Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and I will be here with another guest. And thank you so much. And again, thank you, dude. I love you very much.
I love you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Dude. See ya.
Bye.